Okay, I just tried to record a different one, but it got a little convoluted. So I just want to start off with this Final Five, Final Four stuff. Because I just think, I'm so confused how this idea that I was willing to bring Taylor to the Final Three can exist. I didn't bring Taylor to the Final Three. Billy, the one who's supposedly the frontrunner to win, voted for me, tried to get Taylor to the Final Three. I intentionally made a plan with Taylor to split the votes 2-1-1, us on Billy, Anna on her, Billy on me. But I didn't actually want to go with that plan. I only did that to get Taylor to vote for Billy, so it would be a 2-1-1 on Taylor. But I need to rewind to the Final Five. And actually, I need to rewind to the Final Six and the Final Seven. At the Final Seven, I took out Ginger to ensure that Billy and Taylor had to work with me at the Final Six, that they didn't have a choice. Because even if Tay won immunity, they would still need my number at the Final Five to take out Tay, under the idea that Anna and Flora were still loyal to Tay. And I was banking on that. But Tay didn't win immunity at the Final Six. Anna did. And so we took out Tay because she was the biggest threat. At the Final Five, my plan was always to take out Anna, because I knew Taylor was the biggest threat, and I hoped that at the Final Four, everyone else would recognize that. I was confident that me or Flora would win the Final Four immunity, and that I would be able to take out Taylor, or at least go to fire against Taylor. So I wanted to take out Anna, because Anna being there and winning the immunity would throw a wrench in my plans. But I needed Taylor as that shield. Anna wins immunity at the Final Five, and I'm like, shit, this really has thrown a wrench in all of my plans. And I deliberated about it the entire round on whether I should take out Taylor. I put a vote in for Taylor, actually. And then I started thinking about it more, and I realized, and please try to understand my thought process here, because I think it is correct and true, or at least it is correct from my perception at that time, that if I voted out Taylor, the Final Five would be me, Billy, Anna, and Flora. And Anna is by far the most likely to win immunity. If Anna is immune, and the only people who can receive votes are me, Billy, and Flora, who goes home? I mean, I think it's obviously me. I would vote myself out in that scenario. I would expect Anna, Flora, and Billy to. Billy and Flora, for the past 2 rounds, had been telling each other that they were not going to vote for the other if they were on jury. And they had both told me that, and both said that they didn't want to vote for each other at any time because they didn't want them a vote on the jury that wasn't going to vote for them. So they would have no reason to take each other out. And they were both known as the biggest Final Tribal Council, not the biggest, the lowest Final Tribal Council threats in the game. So Anna has no motivation to take out Billy and Flora. So who goes home at the Final Four? If it's me, Anna, Billy, and Flora, it's me. Unless I win immunity, or unless I can get somebody to give me fire, I would go home. Now, in the real scenario that occurred, I realized that if I brought Taylor to the Final Four with me as a shield, that there was a good chance that I wouldn't even have to make fire. And if I did have to make fire, it would be against Taylor, and I was confident that I could beat her. I was not confident that I could beat Anna or Flora. So I vote out Flora. The Final Four is me, Taylor, Billy, and Anna. And everyone can say whatever they want about what happened that round. First of all, like you said, Ray, Billy's the front runner to win. He tried to quit at the Final Four. He tried to get voted out. And I don't know who convinced him to stay, if it was production or if it was Anna. It definitely wasn't me. But eventually he decided to stay and play the game. But regardless of that, this is the scenario that happened. Anna won immunity. In the other scenario, I'm pretty sure that I would have gone home. In this scenario, Taylor is at the Final Four to take the bullet for me to make it to Final Tribal. And that was my thought process the entire time. I actually came up with this plan, but with Anna going out at Final Five, at the Final Six, and I planned on the Final Four being me, Flora, Billy, and Taylor going home. And maybe that wouldn't have happened, but this was my plan, and this is what happened. So I'm just really confused by this perception that, I was willing to take Taylor to the final tribal because I didn't take Taylor to the final tribal. And I planned this out at the final 6, Anna winning immunity threw a wrench in it, so I had to change my plan at the final 5. But I planned it out to make sure that there would be a target, Taylor, in front of me at the final 4 so that I could make it. And I was worried, literally from like final 7, I was thinking, man, if I go to the final 4 with Billy and Flora, then I'm probably going to get voted out. So I had to make sure that I made it to final tribal to plead my case. And I was confident that I could get Taylor out at that point. And I did. I pulled off the 2-1-1. Also, you said that I came up with the plan and then switched it. That's not true. My plan was always to convince Taylor to do the 2-1-1 and then vote for Taylor and get her out and trick her into our fake 2-1-1 plan when I had a real separate 2-1-1 plan. That I was never actually intending on voting out Billy at the final 4, because that's ridiculous. Because Billy was trying to quit, and Billy had tapped out of the game from the final 6 to the final 4. And no offense to Billy, I like him as a person, but as a member of the jury, and I've been on the jury in a scenario like this, I would never vote for someone who tried to quit or wanted to be voted out voluntarily. I mean, Billy was literally, like, I don't know if he was going to self-vote. I don't really know exactly what was happening, but he was pretty close to going at the final 4 because he tried so hard to get voted out of the final 4. And yeah, it just had to be that way, that he decided not to go and that Taylor went home. I hope this can dispel at least some of your trepidation. I don't know who is telling you, if you have multiple sources or if it's just Taylor. Taylor is telling you that I wanted to take her to the final 4 after I voted her out. Like, I don't really know where this is coming from, but you will see postseason in my comps that this was my plan. Outside of Anna winning immunity every round. But it was my plan to be here all along without Taylor. Because I knew that we had played too closely together. And that's why I had been subtly subverting her throughout the endgame. Like with the Ginger and the Sabrina votes. But yeah. I'm going to add every jury member in this video. And I just want to talk about my game as a whole. Because yes, I obviously had like some rough patches. I start off strong on Fred, but with all the shenanigans with the Ghost Tribals and Steven quitting, I lost my position. Even at the first swap, I don't think I was super inactive. I mean, I wasn't in a bad spot, but I started getting sloppy. You know, I was more dedicated to my other org. That's true. And I had a lot of stuff going on in real life. That's true. And I made some poor decisions on Fred Tribe. I shouldn't have lied about my vote block and the idol. That was stupid. It was stupid. It was a bad move. And then the second swap, I was pretty inactive. But I was mostly inactive because we kept winning immunities. That's besides the point, though. I was pretty inactive. I definitely have the worst pre-merge game of the 3 finalists. But I also absolutely have the best post-merge game of all the finalists. I flipped like this at the final 14. I knew I was getting targeted. I knew I was on the bottom. And I did strong arm you, Ray. And I actually didn't talk about this in my speech. I was really proud of that. I felt like a mafia boss when I did that. Just like confronting you and being like, listen, Ray, and telling you what I thought and being like, don't vote for me. I'm going to play my idol. And I didn't. And it worked. Leah went out 7-0. And you're right. A lot of people, myself included, forgot that I was in danger in that round. And I saved myself at the final 13, final 12. Maybe you don't think it was that impactful. I think it was. I think I left myself open to working with people that I hadn't been working with previously by not choosing a side and voting for Sabrina. I just put my 2 votes on Sabrina and I left. I had to go to work, and that was that. I also, I pre-played my idol because I didn't think I was going to be at this tribal. And I wanted to use it because I thought everyone else was going to be immune. And then I came back to the tribal and everyone else was playing their idols. And I sat back and watched, and then they played the hand, so I was like, oh great, I won't play my idol, but I had already pre-played it. So, yet again, me just not understanding the rules of the org. But yeah, I did play my idol. At the final 11, I do think the Kai move was a good move for me, and then I got massively screwed over at the demerge, but I was saved from Anna through a social connection and through me lowering my threat level, and I won't say that I had a ton of agency in that move, but it wasn't an accident that happened. I mean, I did intentional things to put myself in a position where Anna felt comfortable playing the idol on me. Obviously, that wasn't my plan. I didn't know that she was going to do that. But I was doing things before that made her comfortable in the end to use her idol on me. And then after that, I did take control of the game. I mean, I'm confident that I did, and I'm sorry that the jury perceives that as me being cocky or me being mean to people on their way out. But I don't feel like I was mean. I told Sabrina that she was leaving, and I didn't want her to blow up my position, so I told her it was an accident, and it wasn't an accident. So if that is mean, I'm sorry, but she had the ammo to blow up my spot. At the final 7, I told Ginger he was leaving. I don't really think there's any bad blood there. At the final 6, I would have told Tay, but she bluffed about her vote block, and that made it so I couldn't tell her that I was going to vote for her. At the final 5, I told Flora, once I decided to vote her out, that I was doing it. I really didn't try to dance around it. I was with her most of the day, truthfully. And then once I thought about it more, I decided it was the wrong move, and I told her up front. And I think I've explained succinctly my thought process, and maybe you don't agree with it, but it worked, and I'm here without Taylor, and that was always my intention. So maybe you think it was the wrong move, and I'm sorry, but I think it was clearly the right move because I made it. And just to address my other 2 competitors, I think Anna did play a good social game, and she was really strong in the challenges. But Anna might have had the least agency of anyone from, like, the final 8 onwards. I don't really think she directed or drove any vote that round, like, towards her preference. And I think that's really clear in her speech and her responses, that she was completely passive there. Oh man, I gotta get going. And then to address Billy, everyone's saying that I was mean and toxic. I think Billy was extremely mean and toxic in reality to other people as they left. And that put him at a bad position for pretty much the rest of the game. He was always seen as a lackey, as subservient to Taylor, and even to Ginger, in my opinion. And that never ended. Not even at the final 4 did people think that Billy wasn't subservient to Taylor. And that was the reality, because he voted for me. He didn't vote for Taylor. Billy was always Taylor's lackey, and I was always Taylor's competitor. And that's all I have to say. I hope the jury watches this whole video, because that last line I said kind of lays out the entire merge portion of the game in general. I was playing for myself, and I made moves for myself, and I got to the end myself. And Billy was playing for Taylor to make the final 3. And Anna was playing, I don't even know for who. Anna was trying to get voted out of shit with immunity. But yeah, I worked hard to get here. I put in the work strategically. I know you say my social game was weak, but I was the only one who was working with both sides at the end of the merge. So yeah, that's my argument. I'm gonna ping everyone in the jury. I hope you watch this. I know it's a long video, but I do think it lays out why I should be the winner over my other 2 competitors. I want to remind everyone that this isn't me versus Taylor in the final 3, because I voted Taylor out. I'm against Anna and Billy. And if you truly believe that Anna and Billy played a better game than me, then you should vote for them. But if you look at how the game played out, and you look at how each person got to this point, I think it is very clear who played the best game and who, by the end, was the most dedicated to winning. I'm sorry for any hurt feelings. I never intended to hurt anyone's feelings, especially Taylor. I know I've gone over this, but I do think I deserve the benefit of the doubt that I really just didn't understand the rules, because I didn't. So I hope that I can be forgiven. I hope this idea that I was Taylor's lackey can be dispelled, because it's not true, and it was never true. So please watch this. I know it's kind of long, but you are voting for the winner, and it's 15 minutes out of your day. So here we go.